Okay, boys, we're in the international break. There's no Chelsea news or any content or any games or like that for another week or so. So I thought, when's a better time than to go through the academy, right? All the under 21s, all the under 18s, and let's rank them. So going into the 2025-2026 season, who are the players to look out for? Who have the highest upside and the most potential? So I'll go through all of them now. I've got them here. So all the under 21s, all the under 18s, and then I've added a couple of the really promising under 16s as well. Just a bit of fun, just my personal ratings, just who I think has the highest likelihood of breaking into the team. So let's get straight into it, right? So starting off here, Freddie Burnall. I'm going to put him in good player. So he's a 16-year-old goalkeeper, right? Arsenal did actually put in a £1 million bid for him a while back, but he decided to stay at Chelsea. He's in the under 21s as a 16-year-old as well, so as a goalkeeper, that is really promising. So for me, he goes into good player. We haven't seen enough of him to warrant him as like an elite goalkeeper. That's something warranted for some of the other players. Next up, we've got Ted Kurd. Just pure profit for me. 19 years old. He's been on a few loans in the Vanarama leagues, right? Nothing's really popped up, so pure profit. And it's the same for Max Merrick. Again, 19 years old, been on a few loans, nothing special, no crazy potential. Best case, just sort of third choice goalkeeper in the academies. No crazy potential here. Okay, next up, I'm going to pit Hudson Sands in promising. He is really talented. The only problem is he's quite small for a goalkeeper, right? He's 5'11", bordering on 6 foot. So for me, that is quite small. At 17, he has the potential to grow, right? So he might have a growth spurt and hit 6'1", maybe 6'2". But even then, that is still quite undersized for a goalkeeper in the modern game. Great, great ball player, sweeper keeper. He's a modern keeper. But if he has a growth spurt, I could definitely put him in good player. But for now, I think that might hinder his development. So I'll put him in promising talent. Next up, we got Genesis Antwi. Really big fan of this guy. Putting him ahead of there in good player. Could potentially be elite. We'll have to see. Maybe next year he'll show that. Obviously, he's a Swedish right back. He can play as a wing back as well, right? Really technical, fast, great pace. We've already seen him play for Chelsea in the Conference League as well. I thought he's shown himself well, had a good cameo. So I'm putting him in good player. The only reason he couldn't really get higher for me, we've got Reece James, we've got Malo Gusto. It's going to be hard for him to break into the squad. So potentially, maybe a loan to Strasbourg will do him some good, or maybe a loan into the Championship to really see some more development from him, right? Okay, Kian Best, again, this is another player going in pure profit. He's not really an academy player. We signed him to play in the academy, so he's not technically one. So he's going in there, right? Okay, next up, Harry McGlinchey. Putting him in promising player. No, he's a 17-year-old Irish defender. You can play as a left back or a left centre back. Good engine on him. I just don't think he has crazy potential, right? Look, he's probably going to do okay as like a championship sort of squad player. That's sort of his ceiling in my eyes. Next up, Harrison Murray Campbell. I'm going to put him in good player. Maybe I'll put him slightly ahead there. I like this guy. Really versatile defender. Great work rate. Could do with a loan maybe at 19 to help with his development. I think he's going to have one more season now in the academy. Maybe makes a cameo in the Carabao Cup, something like that. But then again, this is a player who should go out on loan. He needs to play, regular football. He's definitely good enough. But I like him. He's versatile. If you watch the under 21s, he's a great defender. Okay. Next up, we got Richard Elise. This guy is actually Elise's brother as well, but unfortunately doesn't quite have the same talent. He's a modern sort of right back. He'd be probably good in a free back, and he can just have license to get forward. But I don't think he has great potential. I only really see him as a championship sort of caliber player at best. So he goes in pure profit for me. Maybe that's a bit harsh. I can put him maybe top of pure profit. He's not a bad player, but definitely with some of the other names on the list, I think that's where he goes. Next up, Caden Wilson. I'll put him in promising player. Like 20 years old. He's a good defender, don't get me wrong. He can operate as a centre back or a full back. So he's quite versatile in the fact he can play that inverted role. He's not the most technical, but he does have some great physical attributes. So that does correspond, quite well in the academy. But for me, promising player, I don't see him as anything more. Next up, Leo Cardoso. This one's a tricky one, right? Like, probably put him. No, I think Genesis is ahead of him. It's tricky, right? The talent and the technique, everything is all there. The only thing that could hold him back is injuries. He is quite injury prone. Last season, he picked up quite a few. Like he can operate as an attacking midfielder or as a right winger, cutting in on his left foot. He has a great left foot, really good dribbling, great technical quality. The only thing that could stop him from being an elite, talent, an elite player are the injuries. If he can stay injury free, I could definitely put him in here. But for me, I'm going to put him in the top of good player. He could definitely play in like the top 5 leagues. No doubt, if he doesn't make it at Chelsea, we'll sell him on and we'll make good money from him. I like him, definitely talented. I just hope he stays injury free, right? So next up, for me, this is the first player to get into elite category. Keanu Dyer. Now, we've been struggling to renew his contract, and as of today, we got news that he did renew his contract, and he's actually going out on loan to the Dutch league. So that's great news for him. I hope he has a really good season. For me, pure like technical ability, great on the ball. Only problem is he's quite undersized. He is small. He's not the most physical player, right? He's that sort of deep lying playmaker, loves to receive the ball, turn, and just ping passes and dictate the play, right? So primarily operates as either a 6 or an 8. Really good, football IQ. He's intelligent, good at passing, good at controlling tempo, and the ability to read the game. He's just quite small, but if he has a good season on loan, I'd definitely like to see him, go to a stronger league and see what he can do there. But pure, sort of talent-wise, he's definitely elite level. The only thing that could stop him from really kicking on and maybe dropping back into the top end of sort of good player is his size. But for me, I'm going to rate him as an elite player. I think I do rate him that highly. Okay, next up, we've got Landon Aminalo. He's definitely talented. Again, I think I'm going to put him just below Genesis. 17 years old, really versatile. He can either play in the midfield. He's also the son of Michael Aminalo, former Chelsea director, and obviously a great player, right? Can play anywhere in the midfield. So versatile. He can also play in the defence. We've seen it already on in the under-21s, right? He's operating as a left back. So it just is a testament. So he can really just play anywhere on the field. Great intensity and work rate about him. You can tell he just wants to work hard and play for the team. I'm going to put him in good player, though. He definitely, again, this is one who could border on elite. I think he's going to have a big season in the academy this year. So definitely one to watch and keep your eyes on, right? Okay, next up we got Ollie Harrison. For me, this is probably bottom end of good player. I think he's a bit better than just promising. So I'll put him in good player, right? So he's 18 years old, defensive midfielder. We actually signed him from Newcastle 2 years ago as part of, the Todd Bowley era when they were signing all like the top youngsters. And he had quite a bit of hype about him back then. Good bravery in the tackle, composed as well at beating the press. He can play out from the back. And he's also a very good penalty taker, which is quite rare from, that sort of position. I think he's a good player. I don't think, I think he'll be, he can play in the top 5 leagues. Probably won't make it at Chelsea, but again, this is someone we can sell on, make good money, and he's definitely good enough to play in the Prem, a sort of lower team, right? Okay, next up we got Harrison McMahon. I'm going to put him in pure profit. Yeah, he's 19 years old, midfielder, quite versatile, good work ethic, but again, not much potential, not a lot of upside, just a squad player at best, really. So for me, pure profit. Next up, Samuel Vaksaki. I think, yeah, let's put him, I think that's a suitable position for him. He's 20 years old, He is technical. He's a great midfielder. He's already made his debut for Chelsea, and he did impress. I thought he played quite well. But for me, at this age, he needs to go out on loan now to continue his development. I think he's only going to stagnate if he plays another season in the academy. So it might be another, Keanu Dyer situation where we want to get another contract on him and then we're going to send him out on loan. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does go out somewhere this season with that age and that sort of profile in. I think that's the best for his development. He's not going to, get major minutes at Chelsea, especially in that position. So for me, he needs to go out on loan. Okay, next up, Frankie Runham. Again, this is a player who's been plagued by injuries quite a bit. But, the talent is there. Some great potential on him. He's only 18 as well. Last year, he did have a long-term injury. So hopefully, he can kick on a bit and stay injury-free. Really deadly from dead ball situations, right? Can score banger free kicks. If you look at some comps of him, you'll see he scored some outrageous, 30-yard free kicks, almost like Szoboszlai-esque, right? Deadly from corners as well. He sort of operates as you can play a bit deeper, but then progress into an attacking midfielder, almost like that sort of Lampard box to box, but primarily, gets involved in the final third as well. So I do like him, just needs to stay injury free, and I'm sure he'll have a good career as well. We've got Jimmy here. Again, this is another pure profit kind of guy. He's only really playing in the academy just as a squad player. Versatile is the best sort of positive about him. Play in the midfield or as a winger. To do with a loan move, but again, I think he's just there to fill in and play as a body in the academy, right? Okay. Next up, Reggie Walsh. Of course, is an elite player. 16, like so young, and you can see it on his face. He's got a bit of a baby face as well, right? So he's actually the youngest European starter for Chelsea as well. If you didn't know that, in the Conference League, they were all shouting about it, so I'm sure you probably did know. You can either play as a 6, as an 8, or a 10. I see him more as, maybe an 8 who progresses into a 10, similar to how we've got Enzo Fernandez playing now, right? He operates as an 8, but in possession, he forms that sort of double 10 position with Cole Palmer. So, amazing technical qualities, great composure, passing range, reads the game really well. Great, center of gravity. You can take the ball and turn. Above average game IQ as well. Top movement into the box. Just all in all, just an elite level talent. Definitely, going to play a big role in the academy. Probably get a few more cameos, maybe in the Carabao Cup this season for Chelsea. And then maybe next season when he's 17, we can look to loan him somewhere when he's a bit older. Maybe to Strasbourg, maybe somewhere else. He just misses out on world class for me. He could definitely be there, right? He's still 16, so he is very young, so it's hard to kind of, put too much pressure on him. But when you see some of the names we go through, I think they just edge him. But, maybe when I do this list again next year and we got some more names and some other people have been brought in, he could definitely be in the world-class category, for sure. Okay, next up, Atu Ampa. I'm going to put him in promising, sort of. I'll put him like sort of top end promising. So 19 years old. He's a winger from Ghana. Ghana and Chelsea got great connection. We all know that with Essien and a few more players as well, right? Can play either wing. Great pace, and he is a dynamic winger. Very dangerous on one-on-one situations. Only problem is he is injury prone. You'll notice I do knock them down a bit if they are injury prone, because for me, they need to stay fit if they want to develop into top players. Yes, you can have all the potential in the world, but if you're only playing 10 games a season, it really hinders how you grow as a player, right? So for me, promising, just misses out on good player, but I do like him. Okay, Jesse Derry. Now, we just signed him, so it's quite hard to sort of rank him, right? I'll put him bottom end of good player. So we just poached him from Crystal Palace. Can play either wing, representing England as well at the 2025 European Under-19s competition. So look, it's great he's playing for England. We haven't really seen him play for Chelsea in the academy yet. He's only played 2 games this season. Did score a goal though. Great pace and dribbling. I'll put him at bottom end of good player. Could definitely, get higher up here. Let's just see how he does this year, right? Okay, we got Chizzy here. Hmm. I'm gonna put Chizzy at the bottom, and I'm gonna put him bottom of elite. Or do I? No, I'm gonna have Keanu a bit higher than him. So Ezenwata, 16 years old, right? Dominated the under 18s. That's why he's been promoted to the under 21s. He's a striker known for being super, clinical, great finisher, sharp footwork as well. Can dummy and really fool defenders. Great athleticism, very explosive and aggressive. Straight and direct. Just wants to run at attackers, which is great, right? Yeah, and like I say, he dominated the under 18s last season, whilst being 15. The Chelsea hierarchy have clearly seen enough to warrant him being in the under 21s. One to keep an eye out for sure. He's one of these players who could potentially be in the world class category. He's just so young. Let's see how he does in the under 21s as a 16-year-old, right? But the one player who does make my world class, and the first player on this list, Ryan Kavuma McQueen. This guy's a baller. If you don't know, now you know, right? We worked really hard to get his signature and keep him at Chelsea. We didn't want another sort of Rio situation, right, where Liverpool poached him when he was 16. So look, Chelsea have tied him down, really important, and I'm super happy we've got him in the squad. Wouldn't be surprised if he sort of features maybe in the Carabao Cup or maybe the FA Cup in one of the early rounds against a weaker team, right? And he gets his debut for Chelsea. But he's quite well known at this point now. He's not some underground name that you might not have heard of. If you follow academy football, you'll know of him, right? So, like I say, Chelsea worked super hard, fended off loads of interest. It was, big clubs looking at him, Arsenal and places like that, right? So he's going to play a lot of under 21s next season, and he's 16. Could maybe feature, for Chelsea. I think he'll probably make a bench sort of debut this season, but I don't think he'll really start a game. That'll be for next season when he's 17 and he's a bit more developed. But he's unlocked this really unique shot, right? So he can play either wings, but he's primarily a left winger. But he's a left-footed left winger, and there's not many of those anymore, right? Because when they growing through the academy, coaches, they really want inverted wingers now. So if you're a left winger, you're probably right-footed, and if you're a right winger, you're probably left-footed, right? So you're going to run down the wing, you're going to cut inside, and then you're going to create your chance from there. But yes, McQueen does cut inside, but he's got this crazy shot that not many players can pull off, and it's a low driven across the goalkeeper. So anyone watching this video now, go have a look at some of McQueen's comps and you'll see so many goals. He's an XG monster, right? Because he'll be scoring from super low, percentile chances. And it's just low driven, loads of power, and it's just straight across the goalkeeper, and they can't do anything about it. He's just got that in his locker, just this low driven shot, goes in from ridiculous angles as well. So, he's sort of not a one trick pony, but he's definitely mastered that shot. And it's not just that, raw pace, power, very direct in his dribbling as well, and can shoot from distance, scores bangers. Definitely world class. For me, one of the better products in the academy. Super excited to see develop, and hopefully he cracks on a bit, right? Now, back-to-back world class talents. I was thinking about this one quite a lot. I wasn't quite sure where to put Shim Mheuka. Was he sort of elite talent player, or I'm going to put him at the bottom of my world class category. He's a huge talent. He's only 17 still, and he's always played an age group above, which, a testament to how good of a striker he is. I'd only really say the one guy from Marseille, right, is the only sort of English striker who at this level is really rivaling him in that position. Great off the ball movement, killer instinct, can shoot off both feet, a modern sort of complete forward, physically dominant as well. The only sort of weakness has been his heading, but you've noticed in the last 6 months he's actually added that to his locker, so he's really becoming this complete forward. Because before, yes, he was physical and he was dominant, but he was quite wasteful and weak from headers. But he's definitely been working on that, you can see that. So he's just got the overall package, right? Hopefully he has a good season in the academy. He's already featured for Chelsea, right? He's had a few cameos and he did start one game in the Conference League, I believe it was. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a few more features this season. But then he does need to go out on loan. I think once he's 18, this is a guy who needs to go to the Championship or something like that and really make a player of himself. Like the potential, the talent is there. He just needs to work hard now. And I really rate him. I'm excited for him. Look, he could be top of elite, but for me, he definitely can develop and be one of the best English strikers. So for me, that puts him in the world class category. Now, one that might be a bit controversial, I'm gonna pit Richards, Whisper. Gonna put him in promising. Gonna put him. Let's put him top of promising. Look, he did his ACL last season, which obviously did no favours to him. Probably the quickest player in all of Chelsea, maybe. I'm sure if he had a foot race against anyone at Chelsea, he'd probably win. Like, he's very physical, but his main attribute is his pace. Doing your ACL, we'll see how much of an effect that has on him. So it'll be interesting. He's definitely one to watch. He could easily be a good player or even potentially elite. I just think because he relies so much on his physical attributes, that doesn't always correspond massively to senior football, right? We've seen players who have been, very physically dominant in the academy, and then when they get to senior football and they're playing against men, doesn't quite translate to the numbers they were getting. And I think with getting an ACL that early on, it's a shame, but I think it's gonna hurt him quite a bit. So for me, I'm gonna put him in promising. I'm not writing him off. He can definitely have a good season. He's very physical, great finisher. That's why he's called Whisper, right? But I'm putting him in promising. Okay. Sean Wade, this is a guy I'm going to be putting in pure profit. 18 years old, look, he is still young. Irish winger. He's quite fast, direct, but more of a squad player for the academy than anything else. I don't think he'll have any, real promise for Chelsea. Well, it's a championships sort of player. Not that that's a bad thing, but that's just how I rate them, right? Jack Austin, this is just another goalkeeper, right, in the under-18s. Third choice sort of goalkeeper at best, sort of pure profit. I don't think, there's much too more to say. Toby Bell, let's put him in promising talent. 16 years old, so he's a young goalkeeper, good modern keeper. He's really good with the ball at his feet, surprisingly good first touch as well for a goalkeeper, right? Fast off his line, so he's sort of a sweeper keeper. But I just think there's other more talented goalkeepers in this list. So for me, promising talent, definitely someone we could either make money on or loan him out somewhere, right? Right, another elite talent, I'm going to put him just behind Reggie Walsh. So Calvin Diakité, for me, definitely one to watch this season. Very young, he's only 16, right? A defender. He's quite undersized, like he is small if he's going to be a main centre-back and say a back four, right? He's 5'11", bordering on 6 foot, which again is quite small for that position, especially in the modern game. But I think if you were playing either with a free back and he could be that left centre-back position, or hopefully Maresca's still here in 2-3 years' time, because he's going to be perfect in Maresca's system. For me, he's a modern inverted left back. Great, technical attributes, really good leadership qualities as well. Can play out from the back. Ticks a lot of boxes for what you want as a modern defender. Obviously, he's left-footed, which is a big benefit for him. I just think he needs to develop a bit more physically if he's going to potentially reach the world class category, which he very well could do. He's just one of those where, again, like Keanu Dyer, he's quite undersized. Physically, he's not all there, but he's 16. So, of course, not everyone's going to be a freak at that age. But looks a modern ball player, comfortable under pressure. And for me, an inverted left back, he's perfect for that role, perfect for that garden wall sort of defender that the modern game loves and so many managers are utilising as well, right? So, top end of elite, definitely one to watch. Big talent. Okay, next up, Jacob Hall. I'm going to put him again, sort of top end of promising. He's quite tall, right? I think he's about 6'2", 6'3", left-footed centre back. Only 16 still. Only problem is we are quite stacked in these sort of centre-back positions, and I think there's better options, but he's still a good talent. Partners Dia Kitty as well, so definitely one to watch in the academy again. I'm just going to put him in promising. I don't think he'll make it at Chelsea, but he's definitely someone we could probably sell on, right? Okay, next up, Thiago Silva. So, I'm going to put... No, he's not quite elite, but he's definitely... It's tough to say, right, because he's so young. So if you didn't know, this is actually Thiago Silva's son, which is really cool, right? Because Thiago Silva's such a fan favourite and everyone loves him. 16 years old. So it's hard to really rate him because we haven't seen too much of him. Playing in the under-15s, there's not much footage, obviously. So this season will be really big to see how much of a talent he is. Is he an elite level ball-playing defender? Or is he, just sort of a good top 5 league sort of defender kind of caliber player, right? Obviously left-footed, can play as an inverted fullback as well, so quite versatile in that respect. I'm going to put him in the middle of good player. Let's see how he gets on this season, right, before we put him any higher. Yes, he's got the Silva name, we know what that brings, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves, right? Okay, Subaloyo, I'm going to put him in... I'm going to put him sort of towards the back end of good player. 17 years old. He's another sort of tall defender. Great athleticism. Also some good leadership qualities. He has captained Chelsea at the lower age groups, right? Mature for his age. Let's see how he gets on. We're quite stacked in the defensive positions, right? We've got a lot of centre-backs coming through in this particular pool. So for me, good player. I don't think he's one of the top defenders, though. Okay, Dante White is next up. I'm going to put him in promising. Again, we're so stacked for defenders. He's 16 years old, so obviously still very raw and young. He's a good physical player. He's got some good qualities there. Mature for his age. And he's also another one of these who are captains the under-16 side. So for me, promising player. Not too much more to go off. Let's see how he gets on this year in the under-18s, right? Okay, next up, Joseph Wheeler-Henry. So, again, I think this is another... The only problem with him, he's a right back. And, Reece James, no one's kicking him out of the team. You're going to have to be an absolute freak of a player to kick Reece James out. And Malo Gusto's good as well. So that's the only problem. He's 17 years old, right back. Obviously can play as a wing back as well. Loves to get forward, really good off the ball movement. Very pacey. Loves to get involved in the final third. Has got an eye for an assist and a goal. Would be perfect in a wing-back system. So for me, promising player. But again, right back, that's going to be a really tough position to break into the team. It's going to hurt where I rate him, right? Okay, Matisse Aboué. This one's tough. I think this one's the top end of good player. So, obviously the son of Aboué who played for Arsenal, right? We poached him from Watford last year. So, we obviously saw he had loads of talent. We wanted to bring him to the academy. And he definitely does have bags of talent and potential. Two-footed as well. So, he can strike off both feet, can score some bangers. Very good dribbler. The only problem that stops him from being an elite player, because if we're talking purely talent and, technical ability, he's in the elite category. But he is injury prone. Again, last season he was out for a long, long time. Didn't play too many games. Yes, he looked good in the games he played, right? But again, too many injuries. Hopefully he's not injury prone. So this season will be, again, he's one of these ones to watch. If he stays fit, for sure he can be that back end elite player. But for now, I'm going to put him at the top end of sort of good player. Definitely top 5 league potential. Okay. Next up, Sol Gordon. I quite like this guy, but I'm going to put him sort of middle, good player. He's one of these sort of tall, long-legged, box-to-box midfielders. So, he's got a great eye for goal. He loves to get forward and provide in the final third. I think recently he scored a hat-trick as well in the under-18s. So great work rate, a solid box-to-box midfielder. I think a safe bet is to put him in good player. Let's see how he gets on and develops. But, he's got bags of potential for sure. Now, Charlie Holland. This guy, super hyped up. Ooh, where do I put him? Is he above Reggie? Yes, he is. Sorry, Reggie Walsh. Okay, I'm putting Charlie Holland at the top of elite. Just misses out on world class for me. Charlie Holland and Reggie Walsh, they definitely could be in world class potential. They're obviously both still 16, so let's see how they get on. By the time they're 18, I could be putting them in this category. So he's a midfielder, similar sort of build and play style to Frankie de Jong. Obviously, not saying he's like a player with Frankie de Jong, ability, but it's just if we're talking play style and how they look on the football pitch, that's who you could sort of draw a comparison to. You can play anywhere in midfield, immense technical ability, really high football IQ, two-footed as well, so you can play through teams and do these daisy cutter passes effortlessly. And I think he's definitely got a place to play in Chelsea in the future. He's also captained at all age groups he's come through the ranks at. So top end of elite. I think he's going to make it at Chelsea. He's going right to the top for sure. Okay, Adrissi next. I'm going to put him... I put him at top end of promising. He could make it onto the good player section. Let's see how he gets on this season. So he is 17. He's one of these techie dribblers. He's got great pace about him. Represented Morocco at the lower levels. Again, another player to keep an eye out on for. He could definitely move into the good player rank and sort of hit like top 5 league potential. But for now, I kind of see him as a promising talent. Definitely not bad at all. Okay, here's a big one. Ibrahim Rabbaj. There's no way you haven't heard of this guy, right? If you're on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, name the social media, this guy is as hyped as they come. Now, he's drawn comparisons to Messi because of his hair. He's a left-footed right winger, can obviously play as an attacking midfielder as well, loves to cut inside. He's got a wand of a left foot, just ridiculous flair and creativity, can create a chance out of nothing. World class, top of world class for me. The talent is there. I don't want to hype him up too much, and I know I'm saying that and I'm putting at the top of world class, but let's remain sensible, right? He's still only 16. He's going to be playing in the under 18s now. Let's see how he gets on in the under 18s. Potentially, he might even make some cameos in the under 21s as well. Turn 17 later in the year, so he could even potentially feature in like the Carabao Cup or something like that and make his debut for Chelsea. Look, he's got the long hair, he's short, he's left-footed. Yes, he does look a bit like Messi when you watch him play. And he is an absolute freak. I can't hide the fact that, if we're talking about tight dribbling, creativity, flair, skill moves, just like the whole sort of right wing package, he's definitely world class potential. Now, in a year or two, maybe when the hype moves down, he moves into the elite potential category. But you'd be silly to claim, the numbers he's pulling. Look how good he looks at his age group as well. Like, he's undersized, he's a small player, right? It doesn't matter, he's bullying the older boys. He goes in world class and definitely one of them, probably the most exciting player on this list. He could explode, absolutely. But I think social media is hyping him up a bit too much. If you're looking on Twitter, he's getting like 20, 30,000 likes. So, look, I don't want him to hype himself up too much as well and get into his own head and have a big ego, right? But just watch some comps of him and you'll be in awe, honestly. Okay, so we got Chris here, Everton. I put him at sort of the back end of good player. I don't know if he'll make it at Chelsea. I mean, he's definitely talented, right? And he did break the record for the youngest senior debutant ever in the UK at 13 from his previous club. So he's from Northern Ireland, right? Really technically gifted dribbler, great pace and creativity. I just think we're stacked in those positions. It's going to be hard for him to make it at Chelsea, but this is probably someone we'll make decent money on. So for me, Good player. I don't know if he'll make it at Chelsea, though. Let's see how he gets on, right? Louis Richards, I'm going to put him sort of back end of good player as well. Maybe, actually, let's put him in like sort of middle good player. That's maybe back end's a bit harsh for him. 16 years old, versatile. He can play sort of anywhere in the midfield, and he can also play anywhere in the defensive positions as well, to be honest. Great pace and tackling. He loves to just, throw his body in there and slide tackle. Did pick up a long-term injury last season, though. So that does hurt him a little bit. Otherwise, he'd probably be the top end of good player, just because he can play anywhere. He is a great talent. But let's see if he can stay injury-free. If they are injury-prone, I do factor that into my rankings, so it does knock them down a little bit. Okay, next up, Kobe Barber. This is... Yeah, let's put him there. I think that's a fair ranking. Sort of top end of promising player. One of the more talented and probably one of the best players in the under-18s. The only problem is, again, this is a player who picks up lots of injuries. He's out for long periods. But if we're talking, raw technical ability, great pace, dangerous on one-on-one positions as well, loves to run at the fullbacks. But if he keeps picking up injuries, it's going to hurt his development, right? So top end of promising, he could be a great player though. So that's it for all the under-21s and all the under-18s. But I thought, I can't just go with that. Who are some of the really crazy talented players we've got in the under-15s, under-16s? And I didn't want to pick, loads of players here, but I picked out the main ones, especially the ones on social media who have big numbers and get a lot of like threads made about them, right? So, first one here is probably the player if I had to bet money on who will make it at Chelsea, this is who I'd bet on. And for me, he goes to the very top of world class. So if you don't know who this is Reggie Watson. Not to be confused with Reggie Walsh. Yes, we've got 2 Reggie midfielders in our team. But this guy's an absolute freak. Like, just to put it frank, he's 15 years old, right? Can play anywhere in midfield, but primarily as a DM, so that's 6 holding midfielder position. Loves to dictate play, back to the opposition, receives the ball, can beat the press, defensively strong, significant leader, could even be a potential leader of Chelsea in the future. He's captained England and Chelsea at all age groups previously, so I wouldn't be surprised if, this could be like the next Reece James almost. He's a physical freak. He was the youngest player this century to play for the under-21s for Chelsea, right? They didn't look out of place. A 15-year-old playing against, men in their 20s, 21, and he didn't look out of place. If anything, he was bullying them physically. So he's a freak in that regard. I have no doubt he'll adapt to senior football with absolute ease. Really high football IQ, remains calm under pressure, similar to sort of like a De Rossi kind of player, right? Just loves pinging balls from that sort of deep line playmaker position. Very dangerous from free kicks. If you want to go have a look at some Reggie Watson comps, you'll see some absolute bangers of free kicks scored. He can score from 30 yards out, right, and just absolutely hit them top bins. Crazy passing range as well. Can ping through balls, can switch play to the other, side of the pitch. So for me, this guy, if I had to bet money, he's making it at Chelsea. I think he's just destined to make that 6th position his. And he's 15, so by the time he's really a mainstay in the team, maybe 4 years from now, who knows? Like, Enzo could be at, say, Real Madrid, Caicedo could be somewhere else. Or if not, he's going to be knocking on the door. I think he's going to make it. So for me, absolutely world class. Okay, next up, Nicole Jazuli. I'm going to put him just before Charlie Holland. Definitely, he's only 15, so he's so young, right? So he could easily be world-class talent level. And he is playing an age group above his for England, which has only been done by Bellingham and Musiala previously. So that's a great achievement in itself. England are very strict with players playing in their age group, right? Again, this is another midfielder. We've got a great crop of midfielders coming through, in this talent pool. and often he plays with Reggie Watson, obviously for England and for Chelsea, right? Uh, Great technique and dribbling, can just drift past players like it's nothing, arrives late into the box. He often has a knack for scoring important goals as well, so he's got the clutch gene in him. Definitely one to watch over the next couple of years. He could easily be world class. He could explode, definitely. But I don't know if we will tie him down. I know there's other clubs knocking. He did post on Instagram as well that he was supporting Arsenal. So let's see. He might not be a Chelsea player in a couple of years. Maybe another club poaches him. It's hard to keep every talent, right? It's only natural. We're going to lose players. And it's the same. We're going to poach players from other clubs. So we can't be too upset when it happens to us. That's just football, right? So for me, top end of elite, but he's 15. So, we can't really put too much on him. And another player who I'm going to pit at the top of elite, could easily be world class and maybe it's harsh, but he's so young. So let's wait a little bit, right? Let's not put too much pressure on him. But Heze Grimwade, if you didn't know, his family are actually pretty famous on YouTube. They got like 1 million subscribers, right? So they're a bit of like an influencer family. They got like 10 kids, which is crazy, right? But this guy's a certified baller. He only just turned 15 as well. He was 14 playing with the under 18s. Like, I don't know if you know how much of a crazy, situation that is. And he didn't look out of position. Yes, he is quite small, but for where he plays, often plays as either a left winger or, an attacking midfielder. Great centre of gravity, unreal ball control. Great striker of the ball as well. Can score free kicks, but can score from outside the box. Easily beats his man when he cuts inside from the left. I think let's just see how he gets on in the next couple of years or two. Wouldn't be surprised if, again, this is a guy who's going to be playing well above his age groups, and he'll probably be playing for the under 21s by the time he's 16, 17, right? So, look, and he's also got a great work ethic, good mentality. You can tell he's a smart kid. So, very big talent, very big future. I'm putting him at the top of elite, but he's only just turned 15, right? So let's see how he gets on. But that's it, boys. That's my sort of ratings for all the players, all the academy players at Chelsea. Let me know what you thought in the comments below if you're still here. I know it's a long video, but I wanted to do it proper. I spent a lot of time, really researching all these players. I wanted to make sure, I wasn't hyping up people too much. I wanted to be quite strict with who I put in world class. And to me, I do like this list. Let me know if, where you would pit certain players. But for me, the absolute one I'm most excited about is Reggie Watson. If you don't do anything today, just search up Reggie Watson comp and sit back and enjoy. This is a proper DM. He's making it at Chelsea. I'm absolutely certain of that. So that's the video for today, boys. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're still here. I really love making content on Chelsea. And I'll be making videos, obviously, in the next couple of days. We've got Brentford in 10 days. So I'm going to be thinking of content we can do until we can start covering some more news, right? So these are the players I think really look out for. And we've got some great players coming through, this talent pool. The next couple of years could be super exciting. Let me know who you think in the comments is your absolute world-class talent. And that's it for today, boys. Peace. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.